This is Professor Raymond Noble, Department of Ancient History, log entry number 2. I believe I am moving to distant past.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Well, sometimes that is better.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Have you checked the children?
Michael!
Beware the stare of Mary Shaw.
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
I myself am strange and unusual.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
I just can't take no pleasure in killing.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
You want to know what happens to an eyeball when it gets punctured?
The juice is loose.
Unpleasant dream.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Terror Talks. I'm your host, Jeremy.
And I'm Ansley.
And on this episode, we are heading up to Carrolton, Georgia, to visit Camp Blood.
Woohoo!
This is a little bit of a different one for us. This is a new one. This is a first for us. And we are very excited to get to talk about it. Some really awesome people, some really cool things happening. We're not going to waste any time. Let's just dive right in. So first off, from the minute you get there, your parking lot is up the road from the haunt. Yeah, that's the first problem. Not to say that our whole experience is going to be bad, but this did put a damper on things for us. We didn't know we were going to be walking that far.
That being said, plenty of parking, though.
Yeah, it does say they had a giant field for all of the parking, so it's not like there wasn't a place to park, but if you think about it, it is a little dangerous because you have the haunt in one place and you have the parking lot in another, and so you basically have to walk on the road, or at least on the side of the road, to get to the haunt, and there's no lights on the side of the road.
Really dark, and like Jeremy said, you have to walk on this road. Well, this road is like 90% curve.
Yeah, in fact, we actually watched some idiots like flying on it, just throwing caution to the wind, not even thinking about the fact if they were going to kill somebody or not. And the owner was like, jackasses, which is kind of funny. Shout out owners. They're awesome. They are wonderful human beings. Shout out to Michelle and Atch. They are absolutely the coolest people we've ever met.
Not Ash. Atch.
Atch. Like A-T-C-H, I guess? I don't know. Really cool guy. These are like good old Southern people too. Like they're really fucking cool. Like we loved them. He was hilarious, by the way. And he does a little spiel before he lets you in, and you will get to see it once the haunt season is over, because we were given access to film in the haunt for an episode of Inside the Haunt. But you will not get to see that until after haunt season, as it has been requested that we do hold off on releasing that episode until after the fact, just so people still have something to be desired this haunt season, because they still got 2 weekends left. Yeah. Either 2 or 1. It's either this, I think it's this weekend up until Halloween, I believe. So, like we said, you get there, the parking lot, the situation is not great. I think for me, if nothing else, get some lights on the side there. I think that would make a world of difference. You know, just some like string lights up the road, just to sort of light it up, because you do walk past this really dark forest on your right, and it's like, am I gonna die? I mean, I know I'm at a haunted house, but I did not sign up for this. So that, like, for me, that's one thing I do want to fix early on. But then you get up, and they have a really cool ticket booth. We've only seen this one other time at a haunt, and you have like your ticket booth set up outside, and you actually have to go inside the gate to get inside of everything, which is really cool. Michelle was working the ticket booth, and she was absolutely phenomenal. She was really great, really kind to us. They do a really cool thing here at this haunt, where to get into the haunt, you're given basically a poker chip with a letter on it. And whenever Atch is calling out the letters for the poker chips, he will like associate it with like something from a horror movie. So like he was like, N is for Necronomicon, K is for Killers, J is for Jason. It was a really cool, like, sort of just a fun little thing that they didn't have to do, but they did it anyways. So that's a really cool thing. So you don't get a physical ticket here. So that is a little sad because you don't get the keepsake to bring home with you, but it's still a cool way of doing it. Saves on paper and really works. It's very good to get people in and out. And you have to have that token to get in, or that poker chip to get inside the haunt. Otherwise, you are not going to be able to get in the haunt. So, once you get inside, they have a great midway, right? Like, it is so big. There's so much to do. They've got some carnival games. They've got a whole concession store, because this place is also functioning as a paintball arena or a paintball place in the off season. And inside the little convenience store where the concessions are, they have the paintball stuff set up for the off season. They have a fortune teller, which Ansley got to check that out and experience that for herself. So just lots of fun stuff. They got a fire pit. It's a really cool midway. Now,
it's very photogenic as well.
Yes, very photogenic. The only issue I had with it was there weren't any midway actors out there.
Yeah, but that can kind of be explained because of the reason they do this haunt.
True.
They actually send a portion of their proceeds to go help the children's hospital up where they're at.
Up in Atlanta.
Yes.
Yes. So that is a very noble and great thing. We've seen a few haunts this season that do that it's all charity based, and all of their actors, I believe, are volunteer as well. So that even aids with that. Nobody's getting paid for it. Oh, I forgot one of the cool things they have there. They have a movie theater on there that they've created, and inside the movie theater, they basically have a bunch of pews set up and a movie playing on the screen. That night, it was Tucker and Dale versus Evil, I think is what they were playing.
I'm not sure. I didn't get to see it.
I heard them say something about it, and I sort of walked in there to check it out. And it was, I think that's what was playing. But, so yeah, all this stuff in the midway. Like I said, no midway actors, but it's not necessarily the end of the world. It would just be nice to see some midway presence out there. Even if it's just one or two characters. Even if it's like, if you got a guy playing Jason walking away to fit with the whole Camp Blood aesthetic, because Camp Blood is what they called the camp in Friday the 13th after everybody got murdered. They didn't call it Camp Crystal Lake. They called it Camp Blood. That was like the teenagers' joke and all that. So I think that would be a cool little way to sort of tie that in without officially tying it in, having like Jason wandering about the property. That'd be cool. But I digress. So, moving into the haunt itself, because that's the next part. Well, before we do that, we'll talk about the insides and little concessions area. They have a great assortment of concessions. They got popcorn, they got nachos, they got chips. I think that they had other stuff, but I can't remember what it was. They also have a vendor out there who is set up every night during haunt season, and she's part of Welcome Home Gifts and Decor. Ansley got to sort of talk with her for a little bit, but their main shop is at 205 Main Street, Villa Rica, Georgia, and they offer custom items, layaway, so much more. You can shop online at www.welcomehomegiftsanddecor.com, and you can email them at welcomehomegiftsanddecor@gmail.com. Definitely go check them out.
Yes, especially ladies. So this owner, she kind of filled me in on a couple of things that they do with their shop. It is all women supporting women, meaning that you're gonna have like different things. Like she was making candles and soaps, and they had these really cool ink pens. They had cups, like the tumbler cups that everybody went crazy over. They have those, and they can be custom made. And her biggest thing was that she said when she started her business, she wanted to be able to make it a women's supporting women's business, meaning that you're gonna have like her stuff, but you're also going to have women from around there selling their stuff in her shop, which is really cool. As a crafty woman myself, I absolutely love that idea. She offered to let me sell some of my shoes that I paint for hobby in her shop as well. Unfortunately, because I've got Terror Talk stuff to do, I really need that shirt. But unfortunately, because I have Terror Talk stuff to do, and I usually paint the shoes around this time of year, that's not exactly gonna be a thing I can do. But it was very nice of her to offer, and I really do love the idea of the women supporting women on business, because you don't really see that a lot. So it was really cool to see. And also, while we're talking about this concession stand, like, shop area, they had some really cool things in there. You're gonna see, like, autographs from people that have visited. You're gonna see t-shirts that say Jason was a redneck too, and just really cute things and really cool things that you can buy. And it is very photogenic. It's warm in there.
Oh yeah, it was very cold the night we went. I think it was pushing like low 40s. So to go in there and get some heat for a minute was very nice.
Wonderful.
But yeah, so go check out Welcome Home Gifts and Decor. They're not an official sponsor of the Tarot Talks, but we'll happily endorse them.
Yes, we will.
So, enough about all of that fun stuff. Concessions are great. The little carnival games are great. Ansley did play one of them, because literally it was, if you have a quarter, you can play it, because all you do is throw a quarter, land it in the bottle, you win something. Ansley tried twice, was very close, but did not get it in, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was a game where you had to get the quarter in the cup without knocking the cup over. And I got it in the cup, but the cup fell over.
It was close. It was a close game, but the cup won.
Unfortunately.
Bad joke. Anyways, so.
But they have very family-friendly prizes and stuff up there, too. And they also kind of give you a little nod towards their Christmas stuff that they do. By having, like, little elves and stuff in the, or that they used to do. I don't think Gatch said that they did it anymore. But they did have some, like, elves and stuff up there, which normally I don't really like Christmas stuff in a haunt unless it is a Christmas haunt. But, I can live with it.
And
I can live with it.
This haunt did give us some really cool Christmas stuff in it, actually.
Yes.
So yeah, all that midway, wonderful. Into the haunt we go. So, first part of this haunt is super freaking... Well, this whole haunt in general is very claustrophobic. Because it's all built with, essentially, pallets all throughout. It's very backwoods haunted trail vibe. And it feels just like... It feels like somebody has sort of gone out in their backyard and they had a forest out there and they extended that bitch and just went to town building a house. So this haunt, you are going to feel very claustrophobic going through there. There's some really, really cool moments going through. Definitely ones that I liked more than others. Some were your typical things. You had your graveyards and dolls and different things like that.
Yeah, your little haunt staples.
Yeah. But then you had some really cool ones and one of the things we've never seen in a haunt, at least not in these type of local haunts. We've seen them in this concept done at, like, professional places like, Halloween Horror Nights and things like that. But we actually saw Christmas in a haunted house this year. Something I didn't think we were going to see. And I've never seen it during actual haunt season before. But we got Christmas in a haunted house. Literally walked into a scene that was somebody's living room with a Christmas tree, a dude dressed as Krampus. It was awesome.
Even got a cool chimney.
Yeah, like they went to the nines on this. It was great. One of the other really notable moments in this haunt was the sort of hallways that you went down, these slanted hallways that really disoriented. I've never seen this done before. And it basically was a hallway that all of them were sitting at 45-degree angles. And so you had to actually sort of bend to walk through them, and catch your balance. And even Ansley was like, oh my gosh, that's a really neat touch. Like, that's something we haven't seen.
Yeah, and this kind of category of haunt would be categorized as more of a backyard haunt, like Jeremy said, like a homegrown haunt. And you don't really see stuff like that in homegrown haunts. I was very impressed.
Yeah, they're definitely, like, it's a homegrown haunt, it's a home style haunt, but it's also got some elements of like professionalism too that you would not expect to see. There's a really good bait and switch scare that happens. I won't tell you when it comes in or how it happens.
It definitely got Jeremy, and I kind of had to explain to him how it works.
Yeah, it was probably one of the cooler surprises in terms of a chainsaw scare in a haunt, because you didn't expect it the way it goes, and I was just so like astounded that they could do that. So hats off to y'all. That was a really cool moment to get to experience going through there.
And they pulled it off seamlessly. Like, if I wouldn't have realized what was going on, I 100% would have been confused as well.
Yes, very much so. I think the only negative we have about this haunt is the quote-unquote elementary scares, which we did promise we're not going to harp too much on this. But it is something that needs to be said. Honestly, we've harped on haunts for worse before, so we've got to say it because it was the big issue we saw. The boos, the get-outs, the roars.
Yeah. Y'all know I cannot stand elementary scares. As a scare actress myself who has actually worked in a functioning haunt, as a scare actress that worked in a functioning house, my actor director would have my ass if she heard those words come out of my mouth. Like, I have watched her pull people out of a haunt and tell them, you were done. You were just done for tonight because of these elementary scares. If she heard one boo, one get out, one help me, no, you were done. And so a lot of my distaste for the elementary style scares where you're just like, boo, rawr, get out, come back, all of that stems from that. But honestly, rightly so, because again, I will say, I've said it so many times this year, and you would not believe how many times I've had to say this. It makes you look very backyard, very unprofessional. And I get, we just said that this is a hometown haunt, like homegrown, but that doesn't mean you can't be professional. And I would just really, really, really love to see those disappear. I hate elementary scares.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a ditto thing. We don't like to see elementary scares. They're not creative. I mean, give us something creative to your scene and your character. We've seen some really good stuff this year where actors have created a whole story with their character, and so those are what we're looking for. We're looking for those creative moments, those creative scares, those creative storylines that you can give to us. Don't give me the typical, oh, he's gonna kill me.
He's gonna get me, help me, help me.
Right, like 9 times out of 10, we're in a haunted house. Yeah, of course you're gonna fucking get killed. Like, that's the deal here.
Or one of the ones that was most notable in this haunt was when we were walking through another haunt staple, a swamp, and I got, get out of my swamp!
Oh, did that happen? I didn't
Yeah.
hear it. I kind of loved the swamp.
And I turned around and I was like, okay, Shrek.
Get out of me, swamp.
Out of me, swamp!
Anyways, there was one really cool moment in here where you're gonna get wet. Because it happened to me, and I did not see this coming, and suddenly I'm getting sprayed by something. I won't tell you where it is, but it was like, oh, that's cool. We don't see that too often. Like, we love the good interactive effects like that.
It was in a haunt staple, but we're not going to tell you what one.
Yeah, no, you will have to figure out where it is. Good luck with that. But yeah, I mean, this haunt, it had some cool things. It was a really good length, I feel. I think about 15, 20 minutes to walk through it. Probably. It might have been a little shorter. I'm not sure.
I could be wrong. I think Atch said it was like half a mile.
Something like that. It definitely is it's claimed to be one of the longer haunts that we've gone to, for absolute certain.
Yeah, and I mean, while you do get your steps in and you are going to have to like pay attention to what your feet are doing, it is so worth it. Like, it is so much fun to go through. It is so much fun to actors interact with you, and you're not getting this very stale haunt energy that you get with some. Okay, I'm going to say this, and please nobody get aggravated at me. I'm just using it as an example because it is very repetitive. Your haunts that you have your basically conga line of people going through, like Netherworld, or like your HHN blah, blah, blah. Sorry, brain is going faster than my mouth can catch up with. HHN, stuff like that, where you've got your conga line of people and you kind of got to bounce back and forth between your two scare zones and your roar, 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 roar. And I mean, you see those scares, and sometimes they will get you because sometimes there's little breaks in the groups that the actor can find a little moment to jump back in right before you get there, and then they pop out. But it gets very stale after a while because you've already seen these scares. And you don't get that through this haunt because they like to send you in little groups of 6. As a matter of fact, there was a group in front of us that had 7 people, and actually told them, hey, we would prefer it if you break it up into a group of 4 and a group of 3.
Yeah.
Because we usually like to send people in 6 at most, and you're just going to get a better experience if we put you in a smaller group. They actually take the time to make sure that your group is small enough where you are going to get this little bit of haunt action. And like I said, you get to interact with your actors a lot more than you would at like a different haunted house. And I don't know, maybe that was just us because there's only 2 of us going through it, or maybe it's just like that always. We did talk to an actor later on that night after they had come out because we ended up closing this haunt down. I'm just saying. Like, not like shutting it down completely, but like being there after a little bit after close when all the actors were coming out, just because everybody wanted to talk to us. And one of the actors, I won't tell you what he is like dressed up as, but he will know who he is. He had asked me specifically if there's anything that he could do differently in his scene, and if we liked the way he did it. And I did say, hey, as your groups are coming out, maybe try not to like lean on the wall. Maybe just continue to be that like very opposing, standing, like stalking vibe instead of like leaning on this rail as we're walking out.
Yeah.
And he did explain to me, well, I usually have a different like little repertoire thing I do with bigger groups, but since there was 2 of y'all, I mean there was that little bit of dead space. And I did kind of explain to him, I understand that, but we should be getting the same experience as like a 6-person group. I know there was only 2 of us, but you know, we're paying to go through same as like a 6-person group. So I did tell him I'd really like to see, him go after it a little bit more. Cause he did explain to me what he usually does, and I'm not gonna, say it, because if you do go through and you do have that bigger group and he does do that, then, I mean, I would have ruined it for you. So I'm not gonna tell you what he does, but, I mean, you do have those little moments where you're like, oh, okay, well, now it makes sense, but I still would like to see it done a different way.
Right. No, I definitely agree. We should get the same experience as everybody else, and that's just a given. I do want to give a huge shout out to an actor. He knows who he is, and I don't think telling this about him specifically is going to give it away. There's one actor in this haunt that actually got a scare out of Ansley. And you will not believe this. He was in a wheelchair.
Yeah, props to him. Not much scares me.
That was, but you didn't know it either. Like, he was in a place where you didn't see that. You didn't know he was in a wheelchair. And he pulled the scare off flawlessly and absolutely scared the crap out of us both. Truth, I'm throwing Ansley under the bus because she never gets scared. But it scared both of us.
And he likes it when I get scared because he's not alone in those moments.
I do. So this place, Camp Blood, it's definitely one for the books. It's definitely one that you want to check out. We highly encourage it, as we do with any haunt. We always encourage those for you to go check them out. Like we said, it's a great experience. So many great things to see, do. You're going to have an absolute blast with it. So now, we are going to rank that haunt. Yeah.
Can we cut that out?
No. Get a soundbite. Rank that haunt.
No, please don't.
Okay, fine. Moving on. Rank the haunt.
I'm going to give them a 4 out of 5.
A 4 out of 5. I am going to agree with you. 4 out of 5 just because of the few little things, the not so much, what is it called? The elementary scares. You know, that's the only thing for me that really did it. Because for it being a backyard haunt, while it is very backyard haunt-ish, it feels like that, and it's meant to feel like that. It's not like, I'm not going into this haunt and expecting Netherworld or something like that. I'm not expecting Hollywood-level sets. Like, that's not on the radar for me. So, I'm fine with that. So, she ranked it 4 out of 5. I ranked it 4 out of 5. That means Camp Blood is a grand total of, drumroll please, 4 screams. Camp Blood is a 4 screams rated haunted attraction as rated by the Terror Talk Scream Scale, but don't take our word for it. Go check it out for yourself this haunt season. You still have time before the haunt season is over for the year, and they are away planning for next season. If you want to check them out, they are located at 2277 Whooping Creek Road, Carrolton, Georgia, 30116. What you need to know before purchasing your tickets. 1, tickets can only be purchased at the box office, and they are cash only. They do not accept any form of credit payment, including Cash App, and obviously they do not accept refunds or give refunds, so please don't ask. As it gets later in the season, the wait time may be as long as 3 hours to enter the haunt once you enter the compound, so you may be interested in purchasing a Scream Pass. So obviously we went on a Thursday night, so it was a little less crazy the night that we were there. But it is worth mentioning that on Fridays, Saturdays, even Atch said at the end of the night, this is our busy time. It's about to get crazy, so get ready. Parking. They are located in the country. They have a few people parked in front of Camp Blood who are their handicap volunteers, but customers must park in the field above Camp Blood. So please use common sense when picking the vehicle you arrive in. Carroll County does not allow roadside parking, and they will tow vehicles parked on the road. I will say, on Fridays and Saturdays, there is a cash-only $5 parking fee per vehicle to provide extra security for our patrons. And, as always, they thank you for your patronage and all the support we have received over the past 34 years. So this haunt has been around for 34 years. I want to say it is one of the longest-running haunts in Georgia, if not the longest. So the walk is nearly a half a mile through buildings, up and down hills in the woods, and could be too strenuous for those who may be out of shape. I survived it, and I'm pretty out of shape, so that's good.
I mean, I am too, and I survived it.
Yep. Make sure you wear the proper footwear for the hike. High heel sandals and flip-flops are not proper footwear. This is the one time I was not wearing flip-flops, so that's pretty impressive.
Well, you want to tell him why that was?
Because I actually put my shoes on, and that's all that matters.
Because Ansley told him not to wear his flip-flops this time, and he actually listened.
Yep. Anyways, tickets are $25 per living body. You can check out their Facebook page for specials that they may offer. Prices include both the nearly half-mile Camp Blood Trail and the barn. The show is not recommended for kids under 12, but as always, that's up to the parents' discretion. As they said, You're going to get a poker chip with a letter on it. This is your ticket into the haunt. Do not lose it, or you will have to purchase another ticket. So if you accidentally throw it in the garbage, you better go dig in the garbage and get it out to hand to them, or go spend another $25. So that's on you. The Scream Pass can be purchased for $20, and you'll go straight to the front of the line and enter the haunt. Of course, that's after a safety guideline and such. Our money-back guarantee. If you don't make it out alive, we'll refund your money to your next of kin.
Sounds legit.
I'm about to say, seems like a fair thing. So, Camp Blood will be open every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, beginning September 19th. Obviously, the day you're hearing this, we are way past September 19th. But they will be open through November 2nd, weather permitting. So that means as of the night that you are hearing this, you have this coming weekend, October 25th and 26th. Oh, and October 24th. So 24th, 25th, 26th. And then you have next week, Halloween night, November 1st and 2nd. Check it out. The box office opens at 8 p.m.
Not the office.
And the frights begin at 9 p.m. They close on Thursdays at 11 p.m. and on Friday and Saturday nights at midnight. So, be sure to go check out Camp Blood this haunt season. It is a wonderful haunt. It is a great haunt. It is very homegrown, very fun place to attend. Be sure to let them know that the Terror Talk sent you, because they want to know that we liked it. So, that is going to do it for this episode of the Terror Talks. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you'll take our word for it and go check out Camp Blood this haunt season before it's too late. Otherwise, you'll have to wait till next year. So, until next time, be safe out there.
Be excellent to each other.
Don't text and drive. And we'll see you in the fog.
Hey, you guys survived to the end of the show. Congratulations, you're all final girl material. But don't worry, you'll have plenty more opportunities to fall victim to our horrifying creations throughout the season. Afraid to miss out on more content?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Don't worry, we've got you covered. All you have to do is like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. You can also subscribe to our Libsyn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts can be found.
Groovy.
Want to keep up with us regularly? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok for all of our social media fun.
Don't fall asleep.
Go check out our website for our written reviews at theterrortalks.wixsite.com.
What are you going to do with those pies, boys?
Want to help us keep the lights from flickering? You can give us a one-time donation of $3 to support the show by visiting glow.fm/theterrortalks. Simply go to that link, and your one-time donation will go back into keeping the show running from Michael, Freddie, and Jason for another day. You can also subscribe to our Patreon by going to www.patreon.com/theterrortalks. Once there, you can subscribe to one of our two tiers, our lowest tier of $1 a month and our highest tier of $5 a month. That's less than 1 cup of coffee, and it all goes right back into our show. Anything else we're forgetting?
I tell you, Michael Myers is here in this
Oh yeah,
town.
please give us a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts and let us know that you saw the show. And if there's something you liked or even didn't like, you can also contact us directly at theterrortalks@gmail.com. Well, that does it for this spooky showing. Be safe out there and beware of ghouls, goblins, and monsters. But until next time, happy haunting.